Deni Avdija might be the NBA's most underrated player. Being on a young team like Portland, where you have names like Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe, guys like Deni Avdija who got traded from a team like the Washington Wizards in the middle of a rebuild can sometimes get lost in the fold. But I think when you look at Deni's averages of 27 and 5, it's clear Deni is a star to superstar in the making, and I think he is the most underrated player in the entire NBA. And I think the first thing you have to do when talking about Deni is look at the scoring, because goodness gracious has he been on a heater. Deni as a scorer has really been starting to become unlocked. When you look at him going downhill with stuff like this, just taking sheer advantage of his size difference, I think this guy has been showing that he is able to play at almost all three levels of the court. Not really a mid-range guy, but still, I love his ability right here, right, to just get downhill. Again, he gets the screen, and Davion sort of gets lost here in the shuffle, so then he keeps Powell at the hip. Kel'el Ware can't really get there, and Deni does a great job, too, of placing the ball on the glass where Kel'el Ware cannot get a piece of it. And then, right, he gets Jovic to go over. Grant waits, spins back around, and then Deni's gonna hit these threes, right? I mean, he's about 36% on 6 a game, which is really good, all things considered, for the volume. So I think, again, Deni has shown all sorts of levels of scoring, because he can do it off the catch, he can do it off the dribble, he can get downhill and create his own shot. I think that's what makes Deni so special, is because, again, he can score however he needs you to. Just immediately goes downhill, and I love that he hunted for that contact there on that play. And even when you look at stuff like this, right, he keeps the man on his hip, and then just gets a piece. Like, that's a great way to manipulate a defender like Andrew Wiggins, right? Gets a little screen action, waits, because Ware has to back off, right, and stick with the center, so Deni doesn't just dump it off, and then just gets right up and gets that bucket. I think, again, Deni's done a really great job at manipulating defenses through his, ball handling or just his sheer scoring capabilities, right? And again, just downhill, this guy has been really remarkable to watch. Like, again, beats Jovic off the dribble, waits, gets the and one. And again, I just love the sheer aggressiveness from Deni, and I think that's what helped this Blazers team honestly come off to a pretty good start, all things considered. They were the first team to defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder with a miraculous comeback, right, or big time comeback. What he's been able to do has really, really been special. And again, now you got Deni going, pushing it up downhill. Again, I think that's what's been so great, is that the way he helps this team through his, paint touches, and then through his catch and shoot ability, I think makes it really tough for any team to deal with him. And he can really, really show why he's so underrated. But then I also want to talk about Deni the playmaker, because obviously he'll have hot scoring nights, and then everyone on Twitter will talk about it, but I don't think people talk enough about how he's able to generate for himself and others. I think part of what's made Deni great as a playmaker is that he's always great at that one extra pass, right? Get Casey Wallace over. Hartenstein doesn't really get a piece, just tries to get in the vision of Klingon. But again, that is just the small things that Deni is able to do to create for others, right? He calls for the screen here, gets the switch, gets it down to Shaedon, who can then, go and create for himself. And again, I don't want to hear nothing about, well, Imster, this is it. Brother, Jokic, Giannis, Luka, they all got assists like that. I just want to break that news to you. Right? Then he gets the screen here. And I love this, because this is just sheer patience, right? Gets the head of steam to go downhill. The defense collapses, because they have to, right? Like, this is Deni going to the rim. That is where his bread and butter's at. And then just gets it right out to the corner man to get the 3 ball to go. I think, again, that is high IQ basketball from Deni. And again, I think it's a big reason this team's been having the success they have been. He's been something of an offensive engine for them. And again, I love the quick decision making here, right? Just goes. Wallace sort of commits. Jeremy Grant can get his shot up in time. And that to me is just, again, that's how you take advantage of people knowing you like to go downhill. That's how you know people have to respect you as a scorer, right? And some of these shots are also just tough shots, right? Like, some of these plays are just good passes, but, Deni's getting some help, which is good, right? You want those teammates to help you. And that pass, by the way, that's just a tough pass. Like, is that really the right pass or right read? I don't know. Again, I think the passing ability from Deni is actually pretty good, all things considered. Is he the greatest passer? No. But I think for this team, right, I love this play. Again, this isn't clutch time. You're up against the defending champs. Like, you're doing your thing. SGA's on you. You wait. Sharp sort of cuts or flashes. Bang. Gets a piece to get the bucket to go ahead by 5. That is the high IQ basketball you're getting from someone like Deni. And I think that's what makes everything so important. Now it's a 3-point game on you, right? So this is where things change. This is just beautiful. Like, Deni has patience. And for a playmaker and passer, patience to me is one of the most important virtues, almost, if you want to call them that, for a passer or playmaker in this league, right? Deni goes to the center, right? Now Hartenstein is, sitting between Sharp. Kamara goes over to cut, and he just gets a piece to, again, go up 5 with 30 seconds left. Deni is showing time and time again he's a very versatile player, and we're going to look at that on the defensive end now. Deni as a defender, I think, when you have a team that's, a tough defensive unit, Deni is no slouch to be a part of that, right? He does a great job here keeping Hachimura from being able to continue to drive, goes up, gets a piece of it with his, his right hand, and is then able to go and push for offense. But again, I think that's where Deni can really help elevate this team, is that he's a good two-way player. Then you get a piece of Vanderbilt trying to go downhill, right? Let's just look at it again. Where is Deni on this play? He basically has to fill in and be, the rim protector here. Gets a piece, right? Because Jared tries to go over, and Deni, again, is able to notice, pick up on it, and take advantage. And I think that's important, right? Because you don't really have a 5-man here. Deni is basically playing your 5. Then has Ayton, right, and just gets a piece. I think that's where Deni is showing some really good potential here, just in terms of what he can do as a defender with blocks and steals and being able to play in the lane and sort of fill out to be their 5-man. Let's just look at a couple more plays here. I think the best part about Deni as a defender is the fact that his size has versatility. Pause. That sounds insane. But Walker Kessler goes downhill, right? You're dealing with a big 5-man, gets a piece of it with his left. And Deni, again, is flexible and able to kind of play 1 through 5 within reason. Again, like, yes, he's not going to be able to guard a Jokic or Giannis consistently, no doubt. But the idea is he's able to keep up with at least up to, I would say, 2 guards. So I think Deni's defensive versatility on top of the offensive game that he has, this guy has real potential to be something special. And we're going to get into that right now, and why I think he's the most underrated player in basketball. Deni Avdija has been one of my favorite players to watch over the past couple of years. I think Deni has a super fun game, and I still remember to this day the reaction to when he had gotten traded from Washington, and honestly, I was just bamboozled. I did not know what in the hell was going on with that decision. I thought Deni was a great piece to be a part of that future, but hey, man, now you've got a 25-point per game scorer, right, giving you about the same amount of rebounds, career high in assists. He's still giving you about a block and a steal a game. The turnovers are up, right? But I think part of that is the growing adjustment and pains of now having to have the ball way more. But when you're doing that on 48, 36, 85 splits, I think Deni has come to realize, like, with this Portland team, he does not have to take a step back. There is no young superstar on this team to give that backseat to. If anything, you could be that young star to superstar and take the front seat and really, control how this Portland team goes. And I think we're going to see that more and more throughout the season. But I think when you talk about a lot of the wings and forwards of the future, right, people have even hyped up guys like Jalen Johnson, who I think is still a great player. But I think Deni's better. But Deni doesn't get talked about in the same way we talk about, potential young future pieces like a Jalen Johnson. I think Deni Avdija is genuinely someone that can be a great number 2 on a championship level team. This guy has legitimate star potential. I just think that because he's on a team like Portland, which is already a small enough market, right? They're rebuilding, and you don't really got any names there that people are super attracted to, aside from a dude. You still have Scoot and stuff like that. But I think, frankly, the way that Deni Avdija has been playing doesn't get talked about enough. Whether it was last season or even during that, I think, last year on the Wizards, Deni and his play and the way that he could operate, I don't think was talked about enough. I think this guy could eventually become an all-star level player, or, could get an all-star. Obviously, the West is a very tough conference to get the all-star nod or push in, so there is that. Make that fair and clear. But I think Deni has been something special. So, as always, guys, this was M's for No Soups. Let me know what you guys think about Deni Avdija in the comments below. I really have got to thank you guys. the last few videos have been doing really good, and it's all due to you guys. So I am more than thankful and grateful as always for your guys' support. So don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. As always, this was Emster Knows Hoops. Have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Peace out.